Hello, hello. Welcome to my channel. My name is Emmie from Emmie Evolving. If this is your first time joining me, thank you for finding me. If this is not your first time, thank you for coming back. This sword wants to say hello. Oh, shit. Oh my God. You're badass. Oh my God. Okay. Sorry about that. I saw it. On the side. All right. So Libra, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, also for your cross watchers. This is a ClairTarot reading. I asked what this reading was going to be about, and I hear they're trying to make you wobble. So usually a wobble will occur if you're trying to balance and have some sort of imbalance. I'm wondering what the imbalance is about. Let's see if we can find out. Because Mercury retrograde is upon us. And the last thing we need is to step into landmines because we didn't realize they were there. So let's just pull some cards. Let's see where this takes us. Let's get us some clarity. Okay. One more shuffle. Hello, Rosalie. Hello. Let's go ahead, get Libra some guidance. I'm told, excuse me. I'm told from this deck. All right, Libra, let's get into this. Man, this card keeps popping up and it has such a I don't know, for some reason it feels kind of dark. Dark in a not so good way. Not just shadow work dark, but like sinister. I don't know. We'll figure it out. All right. So Libra, card number 8, the path. You have been on a path that has been very challenging for over a year now. Since I started really making it a point to come live and actually it hasn't even been a year since I've really switched over to YouTube. Or has it? It's about a year. I don't know. Since I started reading on YouTube, Libra has really, really been challenged. Y'all have really faced some intense things. Many of you have consciously chosen to rise, to grow, to empower yourselves. Some of you have struggled a little bit, okay? And that's okay. You don't have to be at the same place as someone else. You are free to go through your process of learning in whatever way is most appropriate for you and your needs. All of us are different. All of us are different. So here's the thing. I think this is mostly applicable to those who have done a lot of that internal work and have allowed themselves to really expand their consciousness. These would be the people who can recognize through their own personal choices, the decisions that they make, they have been primarily the reason that they've been suffering and struggling so much. Not everyone is ready to admit that, okay? We are the cause of our own struggles, and not everyone's ready to admit that. That's perfectly fine. For those Libras who have been able to recognize and take ownership, hold themselves accountable for their decisions, you are now being encouraged to begin climbing the ladder to another place, another aspect of your consciousness. So many of the Libras are still in this space where it's, either like dusk where the sun is setting, it's getting dark, or at the very darkest part of the night, dark night of the soul. And if you're at that place where it's a dark night of the soul and you've become aware of it, I think at this point your higher self is letting you know there's a way out of that. You can climb up and enter the dawn of a new day. Now, this ladder is not going to be fully balanced. It's going to be a rickety thing. It's going to be something that challenges your ability to stay focused, stay balanced, and keep climbing. But it's not impossible. It's going to challenge you, but it's not something that's impossible. So you're going to have to find it in yourself to continue to encourage yourself to climb, to grow, to get to a place where you can see the dawning of a new day is right there. That this night is not perpetual. This dark night of the soul is not perpetual. You are almost done, because really, you are almost done. If you've gotten to the point where you can recognize and take ownership for the decisions you've made, for the ways in which you've co-created circumstance that you experience, your dark night of the soul is almost done. Okay? So you've been doing the work, beautiful. You've been empowering yourself, beautiful. Be a little bit patient. You're almost there. It's time for you to, card number 19, feel loved and proud. You've done the work. And for those of you that you don't see the ladder yet, that metaphorical ladder, you don't feel that metaphorical ladder yet, it's okay. Keep doing the work. You will get to that point. You will. Keep doing the work. You're worth the effort. You are worth the struggle. You are worth the investment. Invest in yourself. Instead of trying to balance two different things outside of yourself, let those things go and hold on to yourself. Recognize you're worth holding on to. Recognize that you have an internal war within yourself because you're trying to be referee for two different things. And I don't know what those two different things are. Sometimes those two different things are, opposing friends. You're a mutual friend for two different people and they can't get along, and so now you're feeling like you have to keep the peace. Sometimes those two opposing things are your future and your past, and you're there trying to balance. And let go of the future and the past. There's nothing you can do to change the past. The future's not set. So no matter what you try and do right now, yes, it affects the future, but you can't predetermine what that future is going to be. So instead, be present in the now. Let go of the two and be present in the now. Be present in your heart space. Allow yourself to fully experience this moment of expansion. All of us are going through accelerated expansion of consciousness. It's going to make all of us feel very, very uncomfortable, very insecure, very unbalanced. And unfortunately, because Libra specializes in balance, that's your primary focus, this sense of imbalance is probably going to affect you the most. Okay, this Mercury retrograde is probably going to be a major struggle for the Libras who are not yet ready to recognize how much they're struggling with their attempt to balance. Okay. So card number 20, whatever you go through in this Mercury retrograde cycle, it's serving to help you remember your limitlessness, okay? You are limitless. You have to let go of your death grip on the past. This is not something that I'm saying. I'm not condemning you. This is a message from your collective energy. Now, I didn't even realize Libra had a death grip on the past. Apparently, you guys have a high tendency of really, really gripping things that have happened in the past, ways you've been hurt, ways you've been betrayed, ways in which you felt cheated. And it's not wrong for you to feel betrayed. It's not wrong for you to feel as though you've been cheated. What you have to do now is let that go. Allow yourself to feel and then let it go. It's not serving you to continue to hold on to it. It's really, really not. What needs to happen is you need to find some compassion for yourself. Okay? You need to find some compassion for yourself so that you can stop the cycles that you find yourself reinitiating. So, card number 29, hunger. Now, we talk about how Libra, is all about balance. Um, Going back to that Native American story of the two wolves within each of us, the white wolf and the dark wolf. Which one are you going to feed? They're hungry. Feed both. Feed everything. It's time for you to become whole again. Stop allowing yourself to be separated into two halves that are needing to be balanced. If you feed both, that means you're centered. And because of your centeredness, you don't even have to try. I know many of you are trying. Many of you are trying so hard. And that's like the catch 22, you know? You're struggling in life, so you have to try harder. But if you try harder, then what are you? Are you being your true self? No, because you don't have to try to be your true self. This is about really recognizing the truth of who you are, about releasing people's perceptions of you. It's very hard to get to know a Libra. Libra, all the Libras that I know, you guys are very private. I'm coming to this recognition right now. All the Libras that I know are very, very private. Much of your inner thoughts you don't let out. You suffer so silently. So silently. And it's in that suffering. It's like you replay things over and over and over and over in your head. And as you replay these things over and over and over, you don't realize this, but you're actually feeding the continuance of that cycle. So as it ends, that cycle with someone else, and you're fixating on the things that you could have said, that you should have said, the ways in which you failed that circumstance, you failed yourself, you failed someone else, you didn't make the right decision, all these condemnations that you have about yourself, you're actually feeding that cycle to circle back around and hit you again, probably with someone else. And then when that happens, naturally, and any person would naturally come to this conclusion. When it happens again, it's like validating this fear that that's all you deserve, that you're being punished, that everyone will just screw you over. It's going to take a lot of courage, Libra, for you to really recognize, I need to stop manifesting this through my fixation of things that have happened in the past, because I'm attracting to myself a repeat of that same cycle. And it's not because this is all you deserve. It's because you refuse to let go of the past that you're bringing it into the future. You have to let go. You have to let go of your fixation with the past. You have to let go of your fear of the future. And you have to just be present in the now. Because if you're not, all of this just continues. It perpetuates your suffering. And I don't know how many times I can tell you in your readings that you deserve so much more. You're not giving yourself full permission. Part of you, because Libra is intelligent, okay? It's not for lack of intelligence. Libra is intelligent. And what ends up happening is you end up looking at things in a more logical way. And logic would tell you, if ABC is painful, D is probably painful too, and every other letter after that is probably painful. If A, B, C, and D involves betrayal, I keep being betrayed, every letter after that's probably betrayal as well, and it really isn't. Is A written the same way as E? No. Does A sound like E? No. Is A in the same spot as E? No. Do you see that? You can't make generalized assumptions But at the same time, can I blame you for feeling that way, for assuming those things when that's all you've experienced? No, no. Because naturally, logically, a person will assume that. If you keep experiencing that, a person will assume that. Well, if you recognize that you are co-creating those circumstance by allowing yourself to be associated with individuals who see your need for validation, because there will be people who will see that need and they'll stroke your ego so they can use you. They see your wound. They're exploiting your wound. They're exploiting your needs. And what ends up happening, you make this assumption, and the person that really just wants to help and doesn't want anything from you, you assume they're just like the people who stroked your ego. And because this person who really wants nothing from you isn't going to stroke your ego, you avoid them because you've made the assumption and they're not doing anything to go out of their way to prove you wrong, just like the people who go out of their way to prove that they love you and they're loyal to you because they're stroking their ego because they have something to gain from association with you. Um, you have to analyze that. You have to really take a good look at that. That's how cycles are perpetuated. You're so accustomed to having to carry such a heavier load on this arm that it's cramped your shoulder, and you don't recognize that your scales of balance are skewed. You see that? That's why the things that seem normal to you really aren't, because you've become so accustomed to this really distorted interaction with others. And this is not all Libras suffer through this, okay? Not all. Some have figured out there's a cramp in the shoulder. We need to work that out a little bit, do some stretches, and we can get that scale balanced again. But this is a very common struggle. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you worthy of less than anyone else or any other zodiac sign. It just means there are things within you, about you, that you need to take a closer look at and maybe make some adjustments to. Maybe make some modifications. Notice how I'm not trying to point out that you're broken, because you're not. When you recalibrate the scale, it can function perfectly fine again. Nothing wrong with the scale. It's the calibrations, okay? You have to recalibrate yourself for the truth of your reality now. You can't continue to use a scale that was calibrated for really traumatic events 10 years ago, 5 years ago, 2 years ago, last week. It doesn't matter when it happened. If your scales are still calibrated for trauma that was sustained previous, then it's not going to function properly for the balance you need right now. So this is about recalibration. There's no need to label yourself as broken or malfunctioning. There is a need for you to recognize the areas in which you need to recalibrate, where you have to make adjustments to your perceptions, where you have to allow yourself permission to release so that you can hold something new. If you're going to continue to grip onto things that are old and in the past, then that's all you're going to have. That's all you're going to have. And you deserve so much more than that. Okay? So, perfect acceptance, card number 29. You have to accept who you are. You have to accept the things that you've already lived through. And when you do that, you can then free yourself to begin cultivating the environment that will attract to you things that are more worthy of you. People, circumstance, living conditions that are more worthy of you. Okay? Some of the things that you continue to attract to yourself, it's not worthy of you. You're so much more than that. You're so much more than that. And some people might be like, oh, well, that's totally like she's full of it. She's full of ego. No, this ego is balanced. This ego is balanced. I recognize your worth. I see through to the core of you, and I see you deserve more than you've been allowing yourself to receive. And I have no shame, no guilt, and no fear or hesitation letting you know this. Some people might hear this type of thing and be offended. I'm not here to coddle your fears. I'm not here to further perpetuate the crippling of your future. I'm here to speak truth to you. I see how much you deserve, and I see how you've not allowed yourself to receive it. And if you need someone who's going to continue to perpetuate this, like, oh, you're a victim, and this, no, you're a co creator. Create something better. It's not about, well, you fucking your shit up. No, however you want to put it, you co created something, you deserve something better, co create something better. If you know what the problem is, stop talking about the problem, start talking about the solution. How are you going to fix this? How are you going to shift it? If you're just going to keep talking about the problem, all you're going to continue to see is the problem. If you already know what the problem is, start talking about the solution so you can find a solution. And when you find that solution, implement it into your life with no fear and no hesitation. Yeah, you might be scared of failing. Yeah, you don't know if it's the right thing. But if you've been fucking up this whole time, what difference does it make? So grow a pair of balls and start implementing. Get ballsy with it. If all you felt is suffering, what difference does it make if you fail one more time and suffer a little bit more? Then try again. If you fail again, who gives a shit? You've messed up already, so try again. And if you fail again, try again and keep going until it's not a failure, until you figure out what solution will work and stick. There's no point in counting how many times you failed because every failure is nothing more than a recalibration, a way to show you that something else needs to be calibrated just a little bit more, just another little adjustment, just one more degree. And that's all it is. Failure is an illusion. It's an illusion. And you need to stop participating in that illusion. If you want to get somewhere else, you have to stop pretending that there's no way to get there. If you keep believing there's no way to get there, then you're not going to get there. See how that works? So, integrity. Card number 17, integrity. Maintain your integrity. Surround yourself only with people who have integrity. People who have more integrity than you, because they say the people you hang around, they're like 6 people that you hang around the most, you will pull in their characteristic. You will pull in their character. And if they lack integrity, you will as well. Stop being afraid that you are not as much as the person beside you. Immerse yourself in an environment that is so far beyond what you think you could ever be, so that you can be inspired every day to grow, to expand. And one day you'll recognize they're your equals. They always have been. It's always just been your perception that they were so much beyond what you could ever be. Perception is one hell of a motherfucker. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It can either make or break you, not other people. Your perception of yourself can either make or break you. So recalibrate your perception. It's that simple. Is it easy? No. It takes a lot of invested time and effort on your end, but you're worth it, right? You're worth it. So, card number 9, assessing. Look at your life and your circumstance from a higher vantage point. Stop being so zoomed in on the problem at hand. Zoom out a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Okay. Card number 36, which the magic you seek is inside of you. Let it flow. That's you. That's you holding yourself down. That's you trying to convince yourself that you're not allowed to rise. Now, when you get tired of that, that's you holding your chin up and telling yourself, we're getting out of this. We're going to make something different for ourselves. I'm no longer going to hold my head down in shame. I'm going to lift my chin up. I'm going to hold my chin up until I recognize I'm strong enough to keep my chin up without my hands under my chin. Both are you. Which one of those two will you allow to come forward right now? Both deserve to eat. Both deserve to be loved. Both deserve to be acknowledged. Both deserve, deserve, deserve. But which one will you allow to come forward right now? The you that's holding yourself down, or the you that's choosing to lift up your chin? Recognize your worth. See the beauty of who you are. You get to choose that. No one else chooses that for you. Card number 31, surrender. Surrender to your process. Just surrender. You're not surrendering to anyone else. Surrender to your process. If you have to bathe in your own tears to clean the illusion off of you, then do it. Do it. What's the shame in that? Because what will people think of you? Well, they already think whatever they think. Regardless of what you do, regardless of how you live, people already think what they're going to think, whether you're successful or not. If they don't want to see you as a successful person, they won't. And there's nothing you can do to change that. So screw them. Focus on you. Surrender to your process. Allow yourself to break in the areas where you are resisting the return of your greatness. Allow those aspects of you to break. Allow it to be crumbled. And then rebuild. The beautiful thing about soul, the most beautiful thing about soul is that, and the human mind has a hard time comprehending this. The most beautiful thing about soul is it will tear you down and break you into all of your raw components. And people think, well, that's just mean. Life is breaking me. No, your soul is dismantling that which no longer serves its purpose. And then it's harvesting the components, the parts of you that it needs to rebuild you into something that functions, something that is in alignment with your growth. Why are you so afraid of that? What's the point of keeping a building that's that has been deemed uninhabitable? If your consciousness as it is right now is no longer inhabitable by your soul, naturally, it must be destroyed. It must experience controlled demolition so that in its place, a new, more functional consciousness can be erected. Why are we afraid of that? Because it's an unknown. That's all. So now you know, so now you don't have to be afraid, right? This is a part of your process. This is a part of your rise. So keep rising. Nothing can hold you down again but you. So choose what you want to do. No one gets to judge you. Some of us need a little bit more time to come to terms with the fact that it is within our nature to rebuild and rise. Some of us need less time. Doesn't make you any better than those that need more time. Some of us need to experience additional cycles of hurt, confusion, sense of betrayal, all of that stuff. That's fine. We all have our own learning curve. That's perfectly fine. We're all shoulder to shoulder in this. You are perfectly you. You don't have to try to be you. What you have to try to do is stop trying. Stop trying to be like someone else, because that someone else is not you. Bottom line, if you find yourself trying so hard, what are you trying to be? If you're trying to be yourself, it's not true. You just are who you are. You don't have to try to be you. So that means if you're trying to be you, that means you're trying to be a version of you that someone else told you you're supposed to be. That's never going to work. That's not sustainable. You can try for as long as you want, but eventually you'll experience fatigue. And as you get tired of trying, you will fail. And is that failure something bad? No, it's the ending of an unnecessary cycle of trying to be something inauthentic. It needed to fail. Does that mean you're a failure? No. That doesn't mean that at all. It means you've now shifted a degree. shifted your perception, made an adjustment, and that's all life is about. Making the adjustments, the recalibrations that are necessary to further focus, to gain better clarity. So you guys have all the messages that you need in order to navigate and process this Mercury retrograde cycle that we are being blessed with. I'm already sour off of it. I don't even think it started yet. I think we still have a couple more days. I'm already sour. It's okay. It's okay. So you guys, please give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already subscribed to my channel, please do subscribe, turn on your notification bell. Join me every single time I'm live. Libra, I am forever rooting for you guys. I am. I really, really am. I hope you understand that. I hope at some point you recognize, even if you don't believe in yourself, I believe in you. And you might be like, well, you don't even know me. I beg to differ. You're a reflection of me existing outside of myself. That's what you are. You're a reflection of me existing outside of myself. So I do know you. I do know how you feel. And I believe in you. So you guys, have a good night. Hi, Jenna Rose. All right, guys. Good night. I'm calling it a night. I'm out. I'm tired. I'm tired and I'm grumpy. Bye, guys.